Craig Gass, comedian. You might want to Google that.
I saw you started in 1993 with comedy.
Yep.
Can you tell me a little bit about like the early years of when you got into comedy and like how they were for you?
I got into comedy because of a bunch of comedians making fun of me one night. They were mocking me for sucking, and I didn't want to be a comedian. I just did it for fun. But the mistake that I made is I brought 30 of my friends to come witness that night, and I ate my fucking dick. It sucked, and that actually happened in 1990. It took me 3 years to get back on stage, and it was through some advice of a radio buddy of mine who said, you know what, you're funny, you should be doing this. I think you're missing your calling in life. And when I tried it again with some advice, I thought, you know what, I could do this, and fuck those guys who made fun of me that night. I'm going to get revenge on everybody that went after me that night. And I started doing stand-up with the sole purpose of trying to irritate as many other comedians as possible, and it worked. Within 6 months I got banned from every major comedy club in the Pacific Northwest except for 1 or 2, and then George Carlin got involved and became my mentor, and then Howard Stern got involved and started putting me on his radio show, and it kind of took off from there. And the guys who made fun of me that night don't even do comedy anymore. They were at the amateur level at that point, but I've been really lucky that I've been making a living for almost 20 years now doing stand-up, so really lucky. So
nice. One of your specialties is impressions. When working on a new impression, like what do you look for to be able to get the essence of that person?
Well, it's weird because I don't really think about it. It usually gets stuck in my head because I grew up, I don't know if you know this story, but I grew up in a family that everyone in my family is deaf. And it's not a joke, it's a true story. My mom, my dad, my sister are all completely deaf. Growing up in a deaf family, I couldn't learn how to talk from my family. I learned how to talk by copying all the voices I heard on TV. So the weirder the voice, the easier it is for me to do it. And like Christopher Walken has a real stop and go kind of voice. Well, he'll talk every once in a while. He'll stop. And then he'll keep going, you know. Or like Adam Sandler is really silly and feels nervous and always does poopy jokes, shibby-doo, you know. And so it usually is like I'll be telling a story and the voice will come out of the story. Like, you know, I didn't have a Lars Ulrich impression until I opened for Metallica and I started sharing stories about how Lars introduced me to the rest of his band. And one of the guys in his band, his singer, said, how'd you learn how to do voices, man? Do you like practice it? And I go, no, I don't know if Lars told you, but I grew up in a really unusual circumstance. And Lars goes, dude, his whole family's retarded. I go, they're not retarded, they're deaf. Dude, retarded, deaf, whatever. His whole family's retarded, and they fucking. And I go, dude, you're getting the story wrong, and you're being very insensitive. So, but yeah, so it's usually like I should work more on it, but usually it'll just be as simple as watching something and going, did you hear what that guy said? And I'll repeat it as that person, and it's usually close. And if I keep repeating the story, I can just zero in on it and just hit it. So
nice.
Yeah,
like you even get like the little bit of like the ticks and stuff in the people too.
Yeah, it's the mannerisms. Like I don't think about the voice, I think about the person. And once I think about the person, then the voice comes out. Like Tom Arnold is like, is really Tom Arnold's nervous and he can't sit still, you know, and he loves fat women and cocaine. And then Al Pacino will just stare right through you. You know, so once you get the person in your mind, I think the voice is right there. So
nice.
Yeah.
Of all the impressions you do, which one's got to be like your favorite one to do?
Tracy Morgan, just because I've been around him so many times and he's so insane that he's my favorite stories to share are about Tracy Morgan. Gene Simmons from Kiss is fun because Gene Simmons got upset with my impression and actually flew to New York to confront me live on the air about my impression. And but Tracy Morgan's probably my favorite. Anyone who will look you in the face and go, I'm going to put a baby in your butthole. I mean, that guy's just, that's got to be a a fun guy. So.
Oh yeah. Being you've been doing so many impressions and stuff, and you do get to meet the people you impersonate.
Yeah.
You mentioned about Gene Simmons. Has there been anybody else that's kind of maybe been a little upset with what you've done?
Yeah, Christopher Walken hated me. We had dinner, and he hated me because another comedian kept trying to get me to do my Christopher Walken impression for Christopher Walken, and it just annoyed the shit out of Christopher Walken until Christopher Walken finally went, listen, I get it. You're talented. Good for you. And I was like, I'm not trying to do this. This guy keeps making me do the voice. So yeah, there's actually been a few of them, but most of them are really cool with it. And thank God Gene Simmons has a good sense of humor, because it's actually led to me performing with Kiss now. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
I've seen you also done work with Howard Stern, TV as well, with like Sex and the City, Kings and Queens. What other kinds of forms of entertainment do you like to do?
I love all of it. I love doing TV. I love being able to be different characters for different shows like Sex and the City and Law and Order or Las Vegas. But I also love doing voiceover stuff, which I've been doing a lot of lately. I started doing voiceover stuff with Family Guy and American Dad a few years ago. I have some opportunities now with Disney that I'm working on. And so it just, like, the doors keep opening for voiceover stuff. And as a result, I'm going to start traveling less and less so I can be home to take advantage of these voiceover opportunities at home. So
nice. And then how'd you hook up with like Seth MacFarlane for like the Family Guy, American Man?
His casting director found me on YouTube. It's the weirdest story. I would have auditioned if there was an opportunity. I never had an audition. His casting director found me online and said, hey Craig, my name's Linda. I'm the casting director for Family Guy, American Dad, and at the time, the Cleveland show. And I want to know, we want to offer you a job. Are you available? I was sitting in a Long John Silver's when she called me, and I said, yeah, I'm available. Like, I'm just eating chicken planks and hush puppies right now. Like, I'll do whatever you need right now. And they flew me out, and I got to work with Seth MacFarlane, and it was crazy, because my first episode with Seth MacFarlane, it was just me and Seth alone in the studio, and he kept doing one line as Peter Griffin, where he kept saying, this is crazier than when Al Pacino was a slumlord laundromat tenant. And then they cut to me as Al Pacino, surrounded by a bunch of broken down washers and dryers, going, you're out of order. And you're out of order. And you're all out of order. And we did that 3 times, and Seth MacFarlane goes, all right, man, I think we're good. But I'm so nervous because I actually believe, in my mind, because I'm a fan, that we're going to be friends now, because we're working together. And I got up and I said, hey, you want to hang out? And he goes, what do you mean hang out? I go, I don't know, you want to grab a coffee or something? And he goes, I got to work. And I said, all right. Do you want me to leave? And he goes, yeah, get the fuck out of here. And I go, oh, I'm sorry. And I grabbed my paperwork and I walked out. I didn't hear from them again for 6 months. And then Linda, the cast director, started calling me every couple of months saying, hey, Craig, can you do this voice? Can you do this voice? And every time she called, I said, yes, absolutely, absolutely. And then I would record it and send it to them. And every time I've come in to record, Seth MacFarlane's never around. It's always a guy named Mike Henry who does the voice of Cleveland and the creepy old guy. And every time I see Mike, I go, hey, Mike, is Seth around? And every time I see him, he goes, don't worry about Seth. We'll get you out of here real quick. And I was like, oh, we'll get you out of here real quick. Like, that says it all. Yeah, it's a tough one. So hopefully I won't embarrass myself like that today. But there's I always have the potential. So
talking about performing tonight, how'd you guys get hooked up with Sonic Temple?
They booked me here a few years ago to do Rock on the Range, and I performed on a night with my friends Jim Florentine and Don Jameson. And then when I saw that a bunch of friends were performing this weekend, System of a Down, who I've opened for System of a Down. I've done shows with the Struts. I'm friends with Disturbed. The guys in Disturbed are all big supporters of mine. And I saw all these friends performing, and I was like, oh man, I want to be a part of this. And they said, all right, we'll make room for you with Dice. So we'll put you on the same stage as Dice. And I was like, fuck, that's perfect. So they put me in, and I'm here, and now in just a couple hours, I'm going to ruin it for Dice. So, and by ruin it, I mean, I'm going to just eat my own dick. I'm not saying that I'm going to crush Dice. Nobody crushes Dice. So
he's legendary.
He is. He's a legend. So yeah, I'm excited to be on the same stage. So.
When you get ready to do your sets and stuff like that, do you have to do any kind of like vocal warm-ups or anything like that for the immersions? Or?
No, I should, but and I can do Sam Kinison all day and not lose my voice, and do that voice where you go, wait a second. How do you do vocal warm-up for that demon voice? Oh! Like, yeah, it's and it's, I don't know where I go with that, but it's probably the same place I used to go when I used to do coke. So
nice.
Yeah.
And if anybody wanted to like follow you and check you out on social media and stuff, like, where would you send them?
Go to getgas.com, getgas.com with 2 S's, and you'll see all my social media links. And I'm telling you, follow them all, because you will find some crazy shit on each of those pages. Anytime I'm in a weird situation, I always document it and put it on a different page. Like last night, I was in a room with Tobias, the singer of Ghost, and Tobias had his full makeup on, and they know I'm a comedian. They told each other a joke in Swedish, and I didn't understand the joke, but Tobias kept laughing, and I went, and I started laughing with him, and Tobias just stopped and went, why are you laughing? And I go, I don't know, I'm fucking scared. I don't know, man. I'm sorry. Like,
guys are ghosts.
Yeah, I'm fucking scared of ghosts. So that video is on my Instagram right now, at Craig Gass Comedy with 2 S's.
Awesome. Anything else you want to add, man?
No, man, happy to be here, and I'm excited to perform. So
awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you, brother.